welcome. We will start in a moment for a little bit of prenatal yoga. So just a short half-an-hour session just to get breathing and moving and settling. So we'll simply start in a comfortable seat, so you can sit cross-legged. In this session, we'll use I have a little stool, little chair, maybe you have your sofa, maybe you have a birth ball, which would be really useful to use in this session. So be around something, it could be the edge of a bed, something that you can kind of lean on, that might be like this is around knee height. So finding that space that kind of works for your body. So that will be close to us. And you can obviously sit on that chair or the birth ball if you have the birth ball. And once you're seated, I'm sitting cross-legged on a few cushions. You could sit on your heels, you can extend your legs out, or again you could sit on your chair. And we'll simply start just in a seated position that's comfortable in your body. You can rest your hands on your babies, however it's comfortable. The mudra that I really like to use is Yoni mudra, and you do that by interlacing your fingers like that, and then extending the index finger and the thumbs away from each other. So obviously your thumb mobility and finger mobility might be different from mine. So you kind of interlock the fingers, index finger and thumb pointing away from each other. So you have this diamond shape or triangular shape depending on what's going on with your fingers. And with that, you simply just breathe. So this is one hand gesture. Obviously you can hold on to your body wherever it's comfortable. But I like this as a way of centering and grounding us. And then if it's comfortable, just close the eyes. And let the body breathe. So there's not a specific breath. It's just your body breathing. And you may move around a bit, or sway, or rock. Allowing the waves of the breath to ripple through the body. So we'll stay here for a few moments, and we will start with a specific breathing practice called Bhramari Pranayam. Bhramari is sometimes translated as the bumblebee. So it's a humming sound. We talk a lot about sounding the breath, specifically in pregnancy yoga, to allow sounds to release, which is very useful during birth as well. So having that natural and intimate sense of allowing the sound. But bumblebee breath or Bhramari Pranayam is a very soothing breath and very comfortable, even if you're not comfortable with sounding the breath. So your humming sound might be different from mine. The sound you can almost feel in the sinuses. So we will just inhale naturally, but the exhale will be this humming sound. So it could sound something like this. And it might be a lot louder or a lot more quieter for you. So just a few rounds, just inhaling naturally either through the nose or through the mouth if the nose doesn't feel comfortable. And then the exhale, that humming sound. And just continuing on your own. The mouth is generally closed as you exhale with the sound, with the humming. You can even imagine that sound just vibrating inside your mind and letting go of any tensions or stress in the mind. Just do one more round. Wonderful. I'll talk a little bit more about the breath, but as I do that we will start to move a bit. So from sitting, extend your left leg out to the side, so you have this nice, maybe just like a nice square between your knees. Left leg extended out. You can bend the knee, you can have cushions underneath either knee, so depending what's going on in your body. So really always listen to your body and really honor if there's any aches in the pubic bones, in the sacroiliac joints, any pelvic girdle pain or pelvic pain, and other issues like knee issues, etc. So really honor that and just rein it in a little bit. But as we sit, you can take your left fingertips to the inside of the left leg, right arm behind you, just lift up through the chest, and then extend your right fingertips all the way out in front of you towards your left foot and all the way to the ceiling as the heart extends towards the sky. We're just coming into this circular movement. So I wanted to introduce you to this Brahmari breath because it's one of my favorite breathing practices. And again, that sounding of the breath is really useful in pregnancy. We sometimes think of that humming sound again. As I said, it's like any anger, frustrations, anxiety in the mind. It can almost drown out those, not emotions, but those senses that overwhelm. So having that sound to just release that tension, even physical tension sometimes in the sinuses, it can be really useful for. Keep your right arm behind you. We'll come onto the right shin, lifting the pelvis, left arm above the head, and you can really lift your heart to the sky, press into that left foot, find space in your front body, and then sit all the way down. Beautiful. Bring both feet together, so the knees apart, feet pressing towards each other, lift through the chest, arching the back, really open the chest, and then around the chest come towards, draw the tailbone to the pubic bone, coming forward again, and rounding in. So this is just a very gentle practice today, just finding a bit of movement and openness. Now when we sound the breath, sometimes with vocals like ah, ee, oh, those sounds we can extend as well. So we stretch the exhale, which we associate with relaxation. So releasing tension and inducing rest and relaxation. And potentially actually affecting the vagus nerve. So again, sending that response of calming down. Let's keep the left heel towards us, extend the right leg out. Again, you can have your toes pointing up, knees pointing up, bend the knees if appropriate. right fingertips to the floor, left arm behind you, lift through the chest, and then draw the fingertips all the way out in front and up above the head. And so again, with that Brahmari pranayama, it's one of the breathing practices I use quite often in postnatal yoga. And if we have a group of crying babies in the postnatal classes, then we can do a walking meditation with the Brahmari pranayama, and usually it has an amazing effect, not just on the mums but also on the babies. So this breath might be useful now, even during labor or pre-labor, during the postnatal recovery as well, and to calm down both mom and baby. Perfect. So let's take that left arm all the way behind us. Press into the right foot so you come onto your left shin, lift the chest, arm behind you, really open up the chest. Now from here we'll come onto the hands and knees, so you can shift halfway forward and then shift onto the hands and knees. So if you like your cushions underneath your knees, go ahead and keep your cushions underneath your knees. So let's just on the hands and knees just to rock forward and backwards a little bit, finding a bit of fluidity. You can circle the whole body, so there's a little bit more fluidity in the body. So I wanted just to do quite a gentle practice. Many of you are in your due window. I know a lot of you aren't, but for those that are and are like, I can't really move, then this is a nice little variation just to let the body flow, stretch out, because you can adjust how to stretch. So you could swing your hips to your right side, look over your right shoulder, and then swing your hips to your left and look over your left shoulder. So you can really stretch out into the side. And we'll come into a little bit more of a stretching practice. You can choose to stay on the knees, extend your arms out, head to the floor, or you can choose a downward facing dog. So again, enjoy the variation that feels good in your body. If you're in a downward dog, you can bend one knee, stretch the other heel down, just finding a little bit of fluidity in the body. And allow the breath to deepen. Bring the knees back down again. Take your left foot to the outside of the left hand. Lift the chest all the way up. Take one hand to your babies, one hand to the sacrum, and just find that connection so you're not dropping your belly outwards, but you are lengthening in your lumbar back. So this is also where you breathe and create space for your breath. So take a moment here. Again, some of you will stay here. Some of you will lower down a bit. You can interlace your fingers behind you and squeeze your shoulder blades together to lift with the heart, but being aware that you're still hugging your babies in just a little bit. Lift with the chest. And then bring the hands back down again. We'll lift that left leg all the way behind us. So extending the leg behind you, keep hugging your babies in. Maybe you bend the knee a little bit. Maybe you extend your right arm behind you, so opposite arm and leg. Maybe you grab hold of the foot and lift with the chest. So you can press the hand or the foot into the hand to extend for the chest. Come back to the hands and knees. Again, just come into these circular movement on the hands and knees. And especially in later pregnancy, this is such a nice movement to imagine or allowing babies to move into that perfect, optimal fetal positioning. Now go ahead and step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. You can grab hold of your foot to step it forward. Lift the chest. Again, one hand to babies, one hand to the sacrum. Lengthening the lower back so you can breathe into your back body. Staying here or lower slightly down. Interlock your fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift with the heart.
and then bring the hands down. Extend the right leg all the way behind you, either just straight leg, maybe floating off the floor, maybe bend the knee. Alternatively, bring that left hand behind you to grab hold of the foot, pressing the foot into the hand to lift with the heart, coming into a bit of an openness in the front body. Come back to the hands and knees. Your choice, downward facing dog, or you walk your hands forward, head towards the earth. Now, if you are in this position where your knees are on the floor, your head towards the floor, your arms stretch out and away from you, your hips are extending away, so you're really creating length, just like you would in a downward facing dog. Now we'll come onto the hands and knees, and we'll get a little bit more space and stretch in the sideways. So in a moment you'll bring the head to the floor again, but you'll be on your forearms. So the head is on the floor and your forearms on the floor. So you can now walk your right fingertips forward. So now your right arm extends away from the floor. And you stretch as far as you can, drawing your hips back. Really create space in your right side of your rib cage. So imagine you could really walk your fingers away from you. And then bring the right forearm to the floor and extend your left arm up. So walking on your fingertips, stretching into your left armpit, into the side ribs, waist, and keep hugging your babies with your in towards you, just giving them a nice, just a gentle hug. Then go ahead and bring that elbow down. Come onto the hands and knees, and we'll stay on the hands and knees just for a little bit more. So, or lunges. So we'll take the left foot forward, and we'll circle the hips. Now, I do this in most of the pregnancy classes, and I like to do it on my own, not being pregnant. Now, if you have a birth ball, this is the perfect time to use a birth ball. I'm using a stool. So you could have resting yourself onto the stool, or onto your sofa, onto your chair, onto the birth ball, and it just gives a little bit more space. Now you can imagine doing this movement, or a similar movement, during labor or birth, because having this space, you can really move the pelvis to create more space and more openness. So this is a position you could use during labor, during birth. Now we'll stay with this height as we come onto our knees. We'll bring the elbows onto the chair or sofa, whatever you're on. You can bring your palms together as in a prayer, like this. If you can't see, like this. Elbows definitely shoulder distance apart. They might have to be wider than that. So bringing the elbows down. And it's almost like we're in our hands and knees. So we can have the forehead resting on the chair or the table, and then you extend your hips away from you. You're on your knees. Now you don't want to drop your belly down, even if that might feel really nice in your shoulders. You hug your babies in, tailbone towards the pubic bone, so that you support your lower back. Now just allow the openness in the shoulders, and breathe into that openness. You can think of hugging baby in with the front lower ribs, lifting the pubic bone slightly up towards the navel. And slowly lift up. Beautiful. So let's enjoy on the other side. We'll take the right foot forward, and again just circling. Now this openness of the chest we just did, you could do really any time. You could do it standing. If you have a high surface like the kitchen table, you could do the same movement just to open up into the chest. And again, super wonderful after birth as well, where this whole area could get really tight from breastfeeding, from the heaviness of your breast, from carrying your babies. Wonderful. And again, with these movements, you can literally almost come down into a squat. But really be aware of how does the pelvis move, because that's what you're exploring, that you can open the pelvic outlet to create space for your babies to be birthed. Okay, so let's come onto the hands and knees for a moment. Tuck the toes under if that's comfortable. We'll just sit to the heels, so your toes are tucked under, you're stretching the soles of the feet. Again, allow the lower back to lengthen. So we'll use the chair for a little bit more, just to come into a gentle forward bend. So again, we will have the legs slightly apart. They don't need to be wide apart, you don't want to be in a split. So you can stretch the toes away, swing your feet to one side and all the way around. And we'll come forward, so we will lean against the chair. Now if that feels a bit tight in the lower back or in the hamstrings, then you get your cushions or your yoga blocks, whatever you may have, and you sit on them to raise your seat. Then you can extend your legs out on either side. And the movement here is really on the sitting bones. You're not rounding the back, you're extending, and then you can rest over the seat. Your head can rest on the seat. So now if you don't have anything in front of you, you can have your fingertips behind you. You can walk your hands slightly forward. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. You know, you can always modify and shift position. You can bend the knees. And maybe even here you come into that extended exhale through the mouth, or the humming sound, or just an sighing out sound. I can't speak. And right now, with every exhale, allow the sitting bones just to relax. Just imagine or sense the sitting bones. With every exhale, they just ease, release. So allowing the sitting bones to relax. And then the tailbone can release. So imagine the triangle between the two sitting bones and the tailbone. You can stay seated where you are, but I will come closer to the screen to show. If you're unsure, some of you have seen all of this before, but you can imagine that the two sitting bones, so here's your back, the spine, the sacrum, the tailbone, and the two sitting bones. So this anal triangle starting to just relax with every exhale, softening all those deep layers of muscles, the strong sphincter muscles, just relaxing with every exhale. And maybe it's a sound. And then bring the awareness to the front parts, so from the perineum all the way to the pubic bones, so that your genital triangle, the vaginal opening, or even the whole vaginal canal around
around the urethra. So all of those muscles relaxing between the sitting bones all the way to the front, to the pubic bones. Every exhale releasing that tension. Feel the inhale is expansive. Exhale to release. Inhale, the muscles naturally stretch and open. Exhale, they soften deeper. Just a few more breaths like this. When you're ready, you can slowly sit all the way up, bending both knees to one side, and then shift around to a comfortable seat. So we'll just get a little bit more energy going to feel a bit more flow and wake up here in the middle of the day. So once again, take your left leg out to the side, right heel to walk to. So we're in this open space again. Now you can do this in slow motion if you're just like very gentle, that's fine. We'll start gentle. Left hand to the inside of the left leg, right arm above the head stretching up. Then right hand by your right hip, left arm to the ceiling. So now you can do this slow and meditative, very sensuous and relaxed. So this is your energy, your body. You can do it more dynamic if you need that. You can even choose to come up to that right shin, lifting the chest and shift down. So either way is perfect. It's just whatever your body needs right now. So just a couple of more breaths like this. And then we meet in the center, lift with the chest, extend both legs out, just circle the ankles, lift with the heart, and we'll just enjoy on the other side. So bend the left heel to walk to, right leg extends. Again, we can start just very slow and mindful, right hand to the inside, left arm stretching up, and left hand by the left hip, right arm extending. And again, maybe just enjoy this super soothing, calming. Maybe you choose more energetic approach or more dynamic. Again, just your choice, your variation, your body. Just a couple of more times, just your variation. And eventually you sit down, coming into a comfortable seat, maybe cross-legged, maybe extending the legs or sitting on the heels, sitting on your chair. Bring one hand to your babies. One hand to the center of the heart. Sit up nice and tall. And just let the body breathe. Knowing that you can come back to this session anytime. If you enjoy the breath, the breathing practice we did in the beginning, it is in a separate video as well. So Pramari Pranayam. And so take this moment to honor your body, your babies, your breath, and the time you've taken out to nourish and to nurture yourself. And so bringing the palms together at the center of the chest in a prayer Anjali Mudra. And we'll simply take a deep inhale and just exhaling long breath out together. So let's breathe in. And slowly open the eyes. Oh, namaste. So now you're welcome to stay in your meditation. You can roll onto one side and relax. So really honor what you need this moment. You could even look for more of the yoga videos. I have some more pregnancy yoga if you need a little bit more movement. But thank you so much for joining me today. If you want more or longer pregnancy yoga sessions, please let me know. If you are used to practicing yoga and you're like, I just want regular yoga but I don't want to make modifications and it's really challenging, then come to the Saturday class at 11. But that is only for people who are used to practicing yoga before pregnancy, regular practice during pregnancy. But that class you can join in if you're used to practicing. So thank you so much, and yes, if you enjoyed it, please share it or share the link to the Facebook group or the link to this video. And obviously if you come to more of the classes, you're very welcome to donate towards them as well on yogaembodiedonline.com/hello. There are all the details. But yeah, if you enjoy, then let me know. If you have any specific requests that you would like to practice in your prenatal class, then please share as well. So I'll come closer to the screen now. Thank you so much. And it's always so nice to see familiar faces and faces I haven't seen for a long time as well. Beyond time and space. So thank you so much. And thank you. So, I can't always see the comments until afterwards. But yeah, if you have comments or anything you wanted to share or request, then just put them in the comment box, even if you're watching later on. So if you're watching, might not be live, it might be in several months' time, which is absolutely fine, then put something in the comment box as well so I can see you've been here, and it's always nice to know. So a different way of connecting. So namaste, thank you so much. Really, really wonderful to practice with you this sunny morning. So enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Namaste, thank you.